Have you ever hidden something you bought from your spouse? Not because you couldn't afford it, but because you didn't want to be judged for wanting it. That kind of shame doesn't stay in a shopping bag. It quietly teaches you to shrink, to stop celebrating who you are. My wife Adele used to hide new clothes in the trunk of her car until one moment changed everything. This is a story of how a pair of boots helped her stop hiding who she was. This is Reframing Life, stories of love, loss, and what it means to be human. I'm Kent. This is part of my 20-episode series, my soulmate named Adele, a true love story told through the life of one remarkable woman and the man who fell in love with her. If you're new here, this is a place where we look at ordinary moments and find extraordinary in them. Adele always said I stood out right from the start. There was the ass grab moment and the dozen roses I bought for each of her daughters on our blind date. And then there was my other unforgivable flaw. I actually preferred shopping over watching any organized sports. Weird, but true. I told her shopping is actually easy when you understand percentage discounts. If something is 50% off, you should absolutely buy it because with the money you save, you can pay for it and it essentially becomes free. Now, if you're shaking your head at that math, you're not alone. But Adele loved it. She loved that I could turn shopping into a playful little piece of logic. And she loved to shop. Mainly for clothes, but honestly, nothing was really off the list. I'll give her full credit. She always looked fantastic in whatever she wore. So what happens when you put two shoppers in one relationship? You'd think there'd be a lot of shopping together, but early on, that wasn't happening. I started noticing outfits I'd never seen before, beautiful clothes that seemed to appear out of nowhere. Eventually, Adele admitted she was sneaking them into the house when I wasn't watching. Her previous partner had thought her spending on clothes was wasteful. He criticized her so much that she started hiding things she bought, things she genuinely loved, things she looked incredible in. And here's the twist. They kept separate bank accounts. She only spent her own money, and she made far more than he did. But shame doesn't care about logic. It whispers, hide this. You're too much. You're wrong. This was one of those small but very real barriers of trust that we bumped into early in our relationship. It took time and a lot of patience on my part to show her that I was never going to criticize her for the things that she chose to buy. We decided to set up joint accounts very early in our relationship. For some couples, that would feel risky. For us, it was an act of trust. Slowly, Adele grew to love shopping together. She'd walk into a store and say, I'm looking for this kind of outfit, this color, this cut. And more often than not, I could find it for her. I gently nudged her towards colors and styles she wouldn't normally try by herself. Sometimes she'd hesitate and then see herself in the mirror, and that quiet smile would appear. If I couldn't go shopping with her, she'd come home and turn our bedroom into a runway. She'd do these fashion shows for me, spinning and laughing and asking, what do you think of this one? And I would get to do what her old shame never allowed. Celebrate her out loud. Those evenings weren't about clothes. They were about a woman being seen and a man choosing to see her. One shopping story really stands out. Early 2011, we were in Las Vegas. We often stayed at the Aria Hotel towards the end of the new strip. We'd walk the entire strip together, stopping at the corner bar outside Caesar's Palace for a mojito on the way to the fashion show mall, and usually on the way back too. It was exercise with lime mint and a generous pour. On our way back through the Crystal Mall one afternoon, Adele suddenly turned and walked briskly away from me, Over her shoulder, I heard, "Jimmy Choo has a sale on." By the time I caught up, this seasoned shopper had already picked out two pairs of suede boots and was asking for a purse to be brought down from a high display. She looked at me with this mischievous smile and said, "They're having a 50% off sale." Oh boy, what did I just walk into? An ambush? The mojitos had a good hold on me, but I still had my wits. I could see right away she adored the boots, and they were non negotiable. The purse, that was strategy. I could almost hear her thinking, if he resists the two pairs of boots, I'm going to throw the purse in and then negotiate back down to the boots. So smooth, so sweet. The only problem was she hadn't enough time to pick a purse she actually loved. She was just grabbing something. We both realized it at the same moment. We looked at each other and gave a little smile and a nod that said, "No, the purse isn't that nice, but the boots are beautiful." Of course, we bought the boots. They were spectacular, and Adele wearing them made them even more so. A couple of hours later, we came down from our hotel room to the gaming floor. Adele picked a small bank of slot machines, mostly new ones with a few old-timers mixed in. I went to get us some drinks. When I came back, I just sat down at the machine beside her without really looking at it. And then I realized I'd chosen one of the ancient clunky machines the casino kept around out of habit. But I didn't care. I just wanted to sit next to Adele. And right before I hit max bet on that old penny slot machine for the very first time, Adele gently placed her new navy blue Jimmy Choo boots on my machine. I pressed the button. The lights flashed, the sounds went wild. $10,000. Those boots had just paid for themselves many times over. I like to think that jackpot was the universe tipping its hat to Adele, not for finding the sale, not for negotiating the perfect boot to purse ratio, but for finally stepping into a life where she didn't have to hide what brought her joy. Shopping had once been something she did in secret, ashamed, criticized, second-guessed. Together we slowly turned it into something playful, shared, celebrated. The real win that night in Las Vegas wasn't the $10,000. It was this. A woman who once hid clothes in the dark trunk of her car was now resting her boots proudly on a slot machine in the middle of a casino, beside a man who loved that she was exactly who she was. Sometimes the real jackpot is the moment you realize you're allowed to take up space in your own life, even in a pair of Jimmy Choos. Shame once told her to hide what she loved. Love taught her she didn't have to. If this story made you smile or stirred something in you, I'd love for you to stay with this journey. This is just one chapter in my soulmate named Adele, a 20-part series about love, loss, and living with an open heart. Subscribe to the channel, watch the next episode in the series, or share this story with someone who still hides parts of themselves. Maybe in shopping bags, maybe in other ways. Thank you for listening and for letting Adele's story help you reframe your own life, one small human moment at a time.